talk to you this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Brady. And you wouldn't know how proud I am to see so many of you here this afternoon, coming to hear, of course, what we have to say, and especially in the context of only recently hearing the President cussing us down on the television, both in Essequibo and in Babis. I think it is a very courageous thing for you at this bottom house meeting to have come out to hear what another political party and what another political personality would like to talk to you about. Sometimes in quarters that where we have PPP strongholds, people are fearful. But I must say that times are changing. And it means now that at least people want to listen. We today have to listen, because whilst we were over the years listening to what the administration would do to them, what the promises were, we were not seeing them, and those promises come to bear fruit so that you can have a better life. Just like Dr. Ramaya mentioned, just like was mentioned by the two fishermen, life in Guyana has gotten real hard. And why has that happened? Why today you can't get your NIS when you pay your contributions after so many years? Why is it that after paying your rates and taxes, after paying your value-added tax, which goes to central government, you do not have proper streets? Why is it when you pay all the monies that you have to pay, you don't have proper drainage and irrigation, so the least rain that faces us, you get flooded out? There is a reason for all of that. And it is not to do anything, as some of the PPP people today will tell you, is God work. It is the handiwork of bad administrators. And I want you to understand how that connection must be made. If we in the government and you the people had proper communication, so that you could have indicated to them what are the problems locally, and they had a caring attitude to you, you would have not gotten these problems, or at least not in the big way that you suffer them today. But we have seen over the years, brothers and sisters, an administration that has hardened to the extent that it doesn't care today for the ordinary people that voted for them. There has been what is called a disconnect. When you go complain about your NIS payment, when you go and complain to the NDC officials that drains can't be dug and kept proper so that the water could drain or flow out in heavy rains, there is a reason behind it. But plenty of us don't want sometimes to see that reason. I am asking you today that unless we become what is called far brainier as to the reason, we're not going to get the situation improved. Never. Let me tell you why. Guyana is a rich country. Guyana is the most taxed country. People like you pay so much taxes, now through the VAT, through that which when you're doing your employment, pay as you earn, and so on. Where does the money go? A big portion of the money does not come back to you. Where does it go? It goes for a bureaucracy in Georgetown that wants only to use it in a very extravagant fashion. Like the president. He more out of this country than inside. Almost every month he got to fly outside. It costs money. And it is not from his salary. It is the taxpayers' money. He wants to create so much advisors and ministers and ministries and ministers within ministries. Dr. Jagan, when he was running this country from 92 to 97, had 13 ministries. Today, we got 21 ministries. Millions and billions of dollars being spent on those fellas that they employ there. So where will you get the money now that you want some to run the road, to do the streets? Monies to do the drainage and irrigation system. Brothers and sisters, it is not a complicated thing. What happens in your household when you don't got food to cook is as a result of that, what I'm talking about. And some people feel that the thing is a little too complicated, man. It's not what Ramjattan talk about. I am saying to you that indeed it is that. We have an obligation now, when it comes to elections time, to ensure that we make an assessment what it is that has gone bad over the past 5 years. And you have to be truthful and honest to yourself. Have our monies been properly spent? Have our monies been properly spent? Knowing very well that this is a country that is 6 feet below sea level. Have enough cocos and sluices been made in the various villages so that when rains come, there can be proper drainage and irrigation? No, they have not. Have we indicated to ourselves when we make that assessment that look, you know what's happening in this country? We are not getting the proper education for our children so that they can find the jobs, if there are jobs out there when they graduate. Are we seeing that? Are we also making the proper assessment? Inside of strongholds like the Edward and in Blairmont and in Bad Settlement, that what we have begged of the regional councillors that they are doing. No. But you know what's going to happen? They're going to come and they're going to tell you, elections time. Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to go anywhere else, but stay in that camp. Even the animals that's here, when they see strain and want to walk away from it. But somehow, we do not want to walk. I am urging you that you must, in 2011, do that walking away. How many of you know that the president's pension package is $1 million a month after he come off whenever the elections is held and he gone? How many of you know that apart from that $1 million, he got 6 people who gonna have to work for he, and government money got to pay for them? And that moreover, every year he get 2 trips to England first class as a former president. He will be making more money than Bill Clinton makes. Anyone of y'all know that? Good. But you got the road that is bad, and you tell them you want the $300,000-$400,000 to do the road. He will get $1 million and more. It's almost coming up $2.5 million every month after he come off. And I am not lying. This bill was passed in Parliament, and all those PPP people voted for it. Donald Ramatar, Robert Prasad, they all put up their hand and say, yay. the president must get in the vicinity of that. And so, what are you left with if people are going to take the taxpayers' money out of the treasury for those purposes? You then are left with nothing, and that is why you're going to cuss down every day. Cuss yourself. Brothers and sisters, when it comes even to that very pillar of our economy, the sugar industry, what do we have? We have an administration of that sugar industry that gives itself the biggest of salaries. And the ordinary cane cutters like you and so many others are left with nothing. That is why when you ask for a 5% increase, you can't get it. When you ask for a 10% increase, you can't get it. But do you understand why it is happening? And who was there all the time in that sugar board called Gaisuko? You know who was there from 1992 right up to now? It was a fella called Donald Ramutar. He is the one unit that is common from 1992 to 2011 in Gaisuko board, directing the show. And his directorship has realized the collapse of that industry. When sugar collapses, brothers and sisters, the economy of Guyana collapses. And when the economy of Guyana collapses, you now suffer. Why did it have to go to this extent? You know why it had to go to this extent? Because of leadership. This leadership, since Dr. Jagan closed his eyes, and especially after Khemraj Janet closed her eyes, it has gone real terrible. They want only for themselves. Just like I mentioned just now about the president's package, all the ministers and all the big boys, all the ministers